Hi, everybody. Thank you to join us on this other session with Consitek Group about NetSuite Italian Localization. I'm Marta Pibia, Marketing Manager, and with me today, Noemi Troccolo, Business Consultant. Before to start, I would like to introduce Consitek. We are NetSuite solution provider, and we are NetSuite customers since 2018. But we are Oracle partners since many years and delivery services on the main technologies by Oracle as Oracle GD Edwards and Oracle Analytics. We have operational offices in Italy and Switzerland, and main important, we are customer of this solution that we will going to see today in this session. So what we are going to cover in this third webinar. First, we made a recap of the basic local requirements in Italy present during the last two webinars, and then going into the system with an example of how to adapt the standard process and local requirement. So now I leave the word to my colleague Noemi Troccolo. Hi, Noemi.
Hi, thank you very much, Marta. Hi, everyone. I'm Noemi, and I'm a business consultant here in Consitek. So today I'm forced to make a general overview about the Italian localization form to continue by analyzing in depth the electronic invoicing. So first of all, these are the main processes that are subject to local requirements. As you can see, under the sales side, we have the invoice and credit memo numbering, the electronic invoice, Sepa cash receipts, the customer master data, and the VAT code. For what concerns the purchase, we have the bill and credit numbering, Sepa payments, vendor master data, VAT code, the electronic invoice inbound, and withholding tax. For the VAT, we have the tax codes, VAT books online, VAT books local, VAT summary, and VAT liquidation. Under the statutory GL, we find the statutory Y clause, GL audit numbering, statutory GL inquiry, and the statutory GL book. On the fixed assets side, we can see the fixed asset local depreciation methods and the fixed asset book. And then we have the Intrastate and the Esterometro. However, today there are still some processes gaps in NetSuite. So what did Consitek do? We have just added the solutions that NetSuite already offers as standard, and we have just integrated them with the Italian taxation requirements. And for each local requirement, we have created a specific bundle. So by entering into the detail of the sales and purchase domain, as you can see, for example, for what concerns the invoice and credit memo numbering in the electronic invoice single output, we use this under NetSuite because this provides an engine able to generate the XML files that are required by the revenue agency. For what concerns the electronic invoice massive generation, instead, the standard NetSuite does not have what we offer, because with the standard NetSuite, you can generate the XML file in a single way. So you can choose one invoice at a time and generate the file. While with our bundle, you can do so in a massive way. So just once, you can choose all the invoices for which you want to generate the file. And after the generation, this will be sent directly to Steam. And it also allows to manage the back. For what concerns customer master data, we use the standard NetSuite. There was just a necessity to match some fields that NetSuite didn't have, so that the direct debit process in the electronic invoices could work properly. And the last is the electronic cash receipts Sepa. In this case, we use the standard NetSuite because this has some tracks that are linked to the Italian localization. In some cases, however, for some customer, we have just created some specific tracks in order to present the file to banks. On the purchase side, for the vendor bill and credit memo numbering, the standard NetSuite does not allow to create register types. And this is the reason why we have created our bundle, so in order to provide system automatic numbering. For the SEPA electronic payments, We still use the standard NetSuite. We have just implemented some more CBI trays. So in order for the Sepa and for the RIBA. For what concerns the VAT codes, we use the standard NetSuite. We have just created some more tax codes. And for the vendor bill and credit memo inbound XML and integrations, this is today's topic. Starting from the 1st of July 2022, it will be mandatory to send it to Intrastate, substituting the esterometro. That is another declaration that we're going to see in a few moments. And we have just exploited the standard NetSuite. On the withholding tax side, this is managed well by NetSuite for what concerns the bill. However, there were some necessities on the bill credit side, so we have just added some more information. And for what concerns the withholding tax declaration instead, we have created a dedicated custom report. So it's clear that for each localized process, we have created a specific bundle, but in the end, it's always the customer that can freely choose what to install and what not. So whether still using the standard NetSuite or whether for that specific topic, our bundle will be better. By going on the VAT side, we use the standard NetSuite, except for what concerns the VAT liquidation and the VAT book statutory printouts. As is in this case, there were some requirements, such as, for example, the necessity to have a company data in the header or the historicization of what we've printed. So what we did was to create a dashboard that allows to print documents both in final and in test mode with the historicization of the period. For the year-end closing, we use the standard NetSuite, so no customization was necessary, except for what concerns the statutory GL book. In this case, we have just implemented it with the journal book printing divided by period with the management of balances that NetSuite does not have. For the fixed asset local depreciation methods, we use the standard NetSuite. However, sometimes there is the necessity to make some configurations. And for the fixed asset book, we still use the standard NetSuite. And for some customer, however, sometimes there was the necessity just to translate it in Italian. And last, we have the Intrastate. That is a declaration that NetSuite manages as standard, and the only prerequisite is to account for all the transactions that ends into the Intrastate by using the item and not the expense account. In fact, as many of you probably already knows, NetSuite obliged to use on the sales side the item, while on the purchase side there is the possibility to choose the expense account. The esterometro is the declaration that will be obsolete starting from the 1st of July 2022. And in this case, what we've always done is a custom saved search that NetSuite does not have. And the last but not least is the Italian Localization Navigation Portlet. So in this case, we use the standard NetSuite. And this is an example of the navigation portlet that we usually install on our customer. And as you can see, in this case, we have under control all the main points that are related to the Italian localization. So once again, for those of you who have just logged in, what we propose is a dedicated custom report that is related to each Italian localization request, but in the end is always the customer that can freely choose what to install and what not. So whether still using the standard NetSuite or our bundle. Now we can go ahead to today's topic. So we are going to talk about the electronic invoice. So what is an electronic invoice? Is an invoice in a digital format that manages the issuing, keeping, sending, and digital storage of the billing documents. And this process was born on the basis of three principles that are the dematerialization, so thanks to the possibility of excluding the paper format, integrity and collaboration in the customer relationship in the customer-supplier relationship. So the electronic invoice is a digital document produced in a XML or JSON format, as it has become one of the standards for the exchange of business information in many countries, whose content must be immutable over time and not alterable, therefore certifiable, and whose authenticity and integrity are guaranteed by the presence of the electronic signature of the person issuing the invoice and by the transmission of the invoice to a specific exchange system, the so-called SDI, which is the platform that transmits the documents to the public administration, transmits the communication related to the activities carried out by the public administration, and allows the Ministry of Economy and Finance to monitor public finances. And by using the electronic invoice, both customer, company, supplier, the tax agency, and the government regulatory bodies can exchange business information by using a standard data format. And there are 5 steps that must be followed, starting from the installation of the bundle, to the configuration of the document package and template, to the update of vendor master data. Then we can really talk about the bill. And last, that is the generation of the document, both in a manual and in a massive way. So now we can go into the system, so in order to see these 5 steps into NetSuite. So this is our main page. And here, this is the navigation portlet that I've shown to you a few minutes ago. And the first step is the installation of the bundle. So in order to look for the bundle, we go into customization, suite bundle, search and install bundle, list. And this is our page with all our bundles. If we go a little bit down, here you can see our bundle, the CTK outbound e-document localized for Italy. In this case, we have already installed it, and the installation is something that we normally do. Then the second step is the configuration of the e-document package and then template. So the document package defines the templates for the electronic documents and the submission methods to be used for customer or supplier transactions. And to every document package, it's possible to associate several document templates. However, when we go to issue the bill, it will be possible, obviously, to choose only one. And by choosing this one, the package will give us all the relevant information that are related to that template. We go into Setup, into the e-document subtab, e-document package, and we obtain this page. And I'm going to open this one, the CTK document package, because it's the one that we are going to use today. By clicking on View, we can see the details. So we have, first of all, it's mandatory to insert a name. Then there is the possibility to add a description, but this is something optional. And here into the document subtab, we have added the related templates. Then we can go ahead to the configuration of the e-document template. So we always go into Setup, we look for the e-documents, and we open the e-document templates. In this case, the one that we are going to use today is the CTK Auto Invoice TD16, TD19. That is the one that is related to the bill and bill credits. First of all, is always mandatory to insert a name. Then something optional is the possibility to add a description. Then here into the e-document package, we will choose the document package that we have configured previously. So in this case, we have added the e-document package, that is this one that I have already shown to you. Then here there is the possibility, first of all, to choose the transactions type that are related to these templates and the subsidiary. If we go a little bit down, here into content type, we have added the XML type, but there is also the possibility to choose the JSON format, as we said previously. And here into the template for the outbound e-documents, we have added our template. After these steps, we just click on save and our configuration is finished. Then the third step is the update of vendor master data, because when we go to install our bundle, what happens? That had added some new sub-tab into our vendor. So in this case, obviously, it's necessary to update them. So in order that when we go to issue the bill, the process works correctly. So here, what I have already registered my vendor, so I'm just going to show you the details. In this case, I have registered the Portlet, and here into the header, we have the company information, and then is here into the document sub-tab that we have to update our record. So in this case, we have to add the e-document package, and I have chosen this one. I have already inserted and I have already saved it. And obviously, all of these are some standard NetSuite fields, so we haven't added nothing. Then we can go ahead, and is now that we can really talk about electronic transactions. So in this case, we go on transaction, payables, enter bills, and we go to register our bill. In this case, here into the other, into the vendor, we choose our vendor that we have updated. So I have chosen Parmalat. And all the other information will automatically inserted. And here downstairs into the expenses and the teams, we go to register our bill. So we insert the amount, tax code, and all the relevant information. And into the document template, we choose the document template that is this one that I've shown to you. After having saved the bill, we can proceed with the fifth and last step. So we can really talk about the generation of the e-document. To do the generation of the e-document in a single way, we can do so starting here directly from the bill. So in this case, what we do is we click on generate e-document. But this procedure is a little bit slower, especially when we have to do so for a lot of bills. So in this case, we have just to wait a few seconds that the document is generated. We have obtained the confirmation of the procedure, and now we can go here into the document sub-tab. And into the generated document, we will find our XML file. So this is our XML that can be downloaded, printed, and saved. Now we can go to the last step, so the generation of the XML file in a massive way. In this case, we have to go into the EI auto invoice generator. To look for it, we have two ways. We can do so into transaction, payables, EI auto invoice generation, or we can search it into the search bar by clicking EI auto invoice, and we obtain the same result. In this case, what we have to do is first of all to choose our subsidiary, so Itaco SRL. Then here we have to choose the document type. So in this case, we are talking about bills. And then we click on filter. we have to wait really just a few seconds, and the system gives us all the bill. Now, as you can see, for some bills, we have already our XML file. And if we want to generate them in a massive way, we just have to choose all the bills, for example, this one, and we click on generate. And now the procedure is working. And a lot of our customers that have more than 1,000 bills per month do this procedure, because obviously it's faster than generate the XML file one bill per time. So everything is really faster. And also the XML file generation is something that is given by the standard NetSuite. We have just added the information that are related to the Italian local requirements. So everything is standard. We have to wait just a few seconds. So in this case, it's almost completed. Okay, now what we have to do, we can make a refresh. And in this case, as you can see, we have all our documents. So if we want to make the download for all of them and do so in a faster way, we always choose all the bills, for example, like this, and we go here and we click on download. So in this case, we save it into our PC, we do so. And if we click on our invoice, we have all our XML file. As you can see, as before, and this can be printed and send it to SD. So I take this opportunity for having followed up till now. And now I pass the word to my colleague, Marta.
Thank you, Noemi. So now, before to conclude this session, some information about Network with Consitek Group. So in April, we have another session of NetSuite Financial First. In May, another session about NetSuite e-bill integration. June, bank statement integration. And finally, July and October, another session about NetSuite Italian Localization. So please contact us if you have any question. Here we are our contact detail of sales and marketing department. Follow us in our social media channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And thank you to stay with us, and thank you for your time. Have a nice evening.